It's about empowerment, education, and entertainment. Fantastic Radio UK, the home of possibilities. It's morning, and the day is filled with endless possibilities. We're so glad to have you listening. Have a fantastic morning. Fantastic Radio UK, home of the Afropolitan.
You are very, very, very welcome to this morning's Fantastic Mornings. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwako, and her name is
Simone and Kojo. Hi, good morning.
Hey, Simone, good morning. How are you?
Good, thank you.
You well?
Yeah, all good.
It's two minutes past 7, and I am looking forward to today and such a wonderful, beautiful day. The sun is shining. I think we have a track there called "Going to Be a Lovely Day Today." So at some point, Simone will, Sina will play it and just blast it away and give us this pep and spice through the day. I'm looking forward to today. We're talking customer service, everything to do with customer service and what we need to do and look at. And we've got an author coming through, spending a few minutes with us and engaging with us. How has been your week? It's gone very fast, isn't it?
It is going very fast, yeah. But we've been blessed with good weather, so even when it looks a bit downcast, we've had the sun breaking through. So yeah, very fortunate.
It's been a very fruitful week for me. I've been all over the place. Went out this morning for a run, came back, and had to do bits and pieces round the corner. Finished with it, and I'm thinking, I got the text from you saying, "Are you on?" And I got Sina asking me, "We've got a few minutes," and I go, "Listen, gentlemen, I'm just going to log in quite soon, and we can do what we have to do." We start with our pep talk and go into our motivation, and we roll with the punches. Yvonne P. Winter comes in to spend the next few minutes with us, talk to us about the Caribbean customer service, Caribbean and African businesses, and share with it. I was thinking about something, someone.
Right, go ahead.
At a later date, we would have to have a conversation. I think one of these days, maybe
looks like we're about to have a conversation anyway. So begin.
Okay, let me do it. I think one of these days we would have to have a whole show of Black Business Day, right? On this show, we have our own Black Business Day where we bring businesses in randomly. They can log in and they can talk about their businesses, what they do, and share with our audience randomly. They're coming through and just logging in and sharing with us and saying, "This is what we are, this is what we do," and we love people to come through and connect with us and do business with us. How does that sound? It sounds good.
Sounds like a nice idea. Yeah. But we'll need to put something in the calendar and make sure people are aware of it when near the time.
Wonderful. Talk to me about the Black Lives Matter thing that that came through.
Yeah, sure. Well, the Black Lives Matter movement, many of us will be aware that it came to spotlight mostly last year, following the George Floyd brutal murder at the hands of US police in 2020. The brutal event sparked conversation, protests, worldwide protests, in fact, and campaigns about racial injustice across the world. And one campaign that was born of that movement is the Black Pound Day. And it's something that we can all easily get involved in. And some of us already have, it started last June of 2020. Right. And it's founded by the music artist Swiss from the So Solid crew. For those of us that are old enough, will remember them.
back in
yeah, they're brilliant. It's a huge
beautiful group. Yeah,
huge group. But yeah, did great music. And Swiss from SKYdigital, he founded Black Pound Day, and he aims to encourage people to shop from and spend money with local and online UK business owners by replacing our usual purchases with services and products from Black-owned businesses. Oh. And that just helps with economics and addressing any imbalances, of course, with economic infrastructure for our community. So what is Black Pound Day? More than, well, simply put, it's a monthly campaign that encourages consumers to switch up their usual shopping destinations. Right. Don't ask them to spend more, just ask to spend elsewhere. And focus on local and online Black-owned businesses every first Saturday of the month. So it has been running continuously. I've seen it very much, spotlighted on social media in particular, and it has been consistent since last June of 2020. Right. And something we'd like to keep going and keep at the forefront of people's minds, really, when they're considering their shopping locations. So the aim is to address the economic inequalities and imbalances affecting Black businesses and entrepreneurs in the UK and the global diaspora. So it's not something that's just taken off in the UK. It's something that's addressed elsewhere as well in other parts of the world. According to the Black Pound Day website, and there is one, please look it up. If you spend just £10 a week on Black businesses, we can inject 1.9 billion into the Black community. And that's just each household considering spending £10 a week. So you can find out more information about that about the Black Pound Day website. Mm-hmm. Again, like I said, it started last June 2020, and it's building up momentum, and it's had incredible support, and we just like to keep that going.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I agree, and my only thing is it's about accessing the businesses. It's about knowing where they are. It's about they being on the top of mind and knowing where they are and we accessing them. So if you run a business and you would want to, get the attention out there, why don't you? I haven't been on the website. I have not been on the website, but I guess they would have listed, hundreds.
There's different categories. Yeah, there's different categories.
Oh, they have. Okay.
Yeah, so there's a directory on that website. So it's the Black Pound Day website. And there's a directory, and it has different categories of arts. There's music. There's services. There's so many different things on there. So when you click onto each category, you should be able to find other businesses that have actually registered their small business or entrepreneurial business, and you'll be able to find and locate those people. Also, if you've actually spent anything with a Black business, keep them in mind each month. That's all. Just be consistent with your support. So sometimes it's not about everyone just advertising consistently. It's good when people can, but some people can't afford to. They can't afford the marketing costs, etc. Consistently be in the forefront of everyone's mind and in on social media, etc. So if you've had a good experience at a certain shop, continue to spend with them.
Wonderful. Black Pound Day, and I will check the website out. I would check the website out, and I would check the website out. I'm really looking forward in checking the website out and going in there and supporting businesses. Yvonne Witter comes through this morning, sharing with us customer service within the African Caribbean businesses. I'm really looking forward to it. I've read bits and pieces around it, read a few reviews that came through. The production, the content that was placed together, and I loved the commentary that came with it. So I would love to have her view on it and look at how businesses can use customer service very much as part of their value chain to be able to do things further. Customer service is quite paramount, and we would have to look at how we can strengthen that and use that to move our businesses further. Let's go get music, and as soon as we come back, we will just crack on with other things. Let's do it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
It's morning, and the day is filled with endless possibilities. We're so glad to have you listening. Have a fantastic morning. Fantastic Radio UK, home of the Afropolitan.
Hallelujah.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and my heart is filled with pain.
Lord Jesus.
You must understand, the touch of your hand makes my pulse react.
Ode to Boobs by Pip Bishop. Dear Boobs, this heartfelt apology goes out to you all for moaning you're too big or moaning you're too small, for wishing you didn't hang like puppies in sacks or just disappear when we lie on our backs, for squashing you flat with a minimizing cup or those torture bras that push you right up. Why is it always your bad points we mention, like your inverted nips or your water retention? Why don't we love you as much as our men, or the babies that love you all over again? Maybe we're scared to show you we care, in case one day you're simply not there. Make it up to your boobs with some breakthrough breast cancer TLC. Touch, look and check. To find out more during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, visit breakthrough.org.uk.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's 12 minutes past 7. Still on Fantastic Mornings. You are on fantasticradio.co.uk. And thank you very much for choosing us. Simone, I have a quote for you this morning. And this is the quote that I got. Maya Angelou said, I've learned that people will forget what you say. People will forget what you did. People will never forget how you made them feel. It's not what is being. It's not what is being said. It's not what is being done, but it's about the feeling, and I lace it into customer service, running business, and the importance of customer service, and understanding that you're there to add value to people's lives. And as we encourage people to go into businesses and support businesses, it's also important to also recognize that people come in there wanting to buy your service, but also seeking to be valued, right? Because sometimes, and only sometimes, we haven't, businesses haven't been consistent with exceptional customer service, and sometimes it can be quite not so refreshing, and it can be very not encouraging. I'm using the right words.
You're right. I think you're right, especially. Go ahead. Continue.
Right, because as soon as one goes down customer service, and I know Yvonne will go into it and break it all down for us, but as soon as you go into customer service, it gets very personal, right? As soon as you go into customer service, it gets a bit touchy. People get a bit sensitive, and it's like you are asking for too much. And there is this dance that comes with the customer and the seller, and sometimes the seller isn't very cooperative with that tango. What is your view on it? You're smiling, and sometimes when you start smiling, I'm thinking Simone has got something to say. What is it?
You've been very tactful, which is great actually, but I think a lot of us get your gist, because some of us experience those kind of customer service or level of service, and I think especially when you sort of make your mind up to visit a place for the first time, first impressions do count.
Yes.
It applies in any sphere of business really, but definitely if you're coming into business and you enter a place and you just want to initially be welcomed and, like you said, encouraged to come back, and you're going to form an opinion straight away. For the first few seconds, it's just not human nature. That's how we are. We read people and we read the environment, and we know where we're comfortable, or if we're welcomed at all. So I think customer service interplays a great it's a great tool to use it when it's done well for the survival of businesses, you know, because some people just end up boycotting places if they don't get a good value. And understandably, you know, that's the reaction. You know, it's human nature. We're going to want to go somewhere. Yes, we want to spend our money, but it's not just simply a transaction. It's a bit more than that, you know. We want to go and experience a good vibes. And if we don't get that, then it's pretty off-putting to return.
Yeah, I agree. Perfectly agree. And my 2 cents to that is businesses. I would encourage businesses to look at the value chain, as in knowing and noticing that the people that come in are human beings, right? And I'm not saying this condescending way, but people come in there, they are human beings. They come in there to spend money, but they come from homes. They come with their children. They come in their husbands, their wives. They are drivers. They are directors. They've lost their jobs. They've just got a job. They are gainfully employed. And sometimes I feel businesses, particularly the service industry or people selling or doing the selling business, would have to look at the human side of it, recognizing that people come in there because they want to spend money. And if they want to spend money, they want to develop a relationship. And I'm not talking romantic relationship. I'm looking at where they want to exchange, get into some kind of exchange with you and be able to spend the time with your place. And if I come in and I don't feel welcome, or I get the sense that I'm being a burden, then suddenly I'm telling myself, there's no point in being in here, and I will walk out. Yvonne, who's written a book around it, would be able to give us every detail. I think as we talk, we're squeezing the juice out. So we will leave Yvonne Winter coming, and she will help us squeeze everything out, talk about the challenges that businesses are facing and what leads to that. Because I also feel there must be a reason why businesses struggle with customer service. Is it because they've got short of staff? Is it because a lot of businesses that start and commence don't really have the budget for the human resource? Because when you have to get the human resource in business, it costs quite a chunk of money, because you got to look at the pension, you got to look at their wages, you got to look at all the things that comes with human resource. And sometimes I feel, this is just my view on this, business tends to bootstrap a lot, and bootstrapping, as brilliant as it is, it can also be quite helping with keeping the customer service. And sometimes, lastly, I think it has to do with the person running the business, right? Because this is one of the things I also pick up, Simone. Business or starting a business or business running is very revealing. I noticed that running a business can be very expository. You know, it can really expose you out, because all of a sudden you got to do things right. You know, you're
the face of the business. If you're the face of the business, then basically, you know, people will notice things. Yeah. You are absolutely
correct. Because there are times where you wake up in the morning and you think, listen, I don't want to talk. I just don't want to talk. There are times where you think, look, I don't want to open the shop, or I just don't want to go practice as a solicitor. And I think as customers, we have to also recognize and notice that people who run business are also human beings. There are times where they are not at the best of their game, and we have to be empathetic and be more mindful. Simon, you're going to say something, please.
No, I'm listening. I'm hearing you, and I totally agree.
Be mindful, and there has to be this two-way street when it comes to customer service. Other than that, we would end up, or we might end up, putting unnecessary pressure. Even though we want the service from the business, we would have to be quite empathetic also to businesses, because the pressure is on. Because the person just opened the shop and there's coronavirus. They've got to that's another thing. They've got to abide by so many things. They've got to abide by so many things. I mean, a young woman that runs a business around where I live, the other time I went in there, she said to me, "You can't stand here. Please stand here. Can you look at spraying this? Put on the mask." And I'm thinking, for her, she forgets sometimes. And I'm thinking, right, I can understand that. So business owners, we are with you. And what we are saying, it's about how we can be mindful. We're not being bashful at all.
I think it's just the way it's communicated, really.
Yeah.
You know, and you can verbally say it, but I think most people that I've gone to, especially takeaways, so I know they don't, you know, they're small outfits, they can't really afford to have people hanging around. Some people like to use it as a little social hub, and of course they don't. And that's, I think, maybe that's possibly where some of the maybe frosty service has been to sort of say, you know, buy and get out kind of thing, buy and leave. You know, they don't want people hanging about too much. I haven't got the floor space to accommodate all of that, and it's not a social hub really. But secondly, you know, I've seen places that have adapted in the past year, and they'll put the notice on the window. You know, people can read, so people will see that communicated and said, oh, only 2 or 3 people in the shop at once at any one time. They might put the stickers on the floor to say stand here. You know, so those little measures still help those misunderstandings, you know, because if people read it and it's already there, then nobody can sort of say, oh, you didn't tell me, and why am I being shoved around and told to stand in that spot instead, you know? Those little simple measures have been done, and, you know, people have adapted to it. And, you know, I think people respect it because it's, you know, it's asked of us from different retail outlets. So I think it's just the way it's communicated. I think people just sort of need to be mindful of, yes, put the signage out and those things, as well as verbally repeat it if you need to. But most of the time, people are following the rules.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. That's lovely. And so, and lastly, Simone, it just literally, this thought literally walked into my mind. Health and safety, right? A lot of people are very, very cautious and mindful, just in case anything happens to the customer in the building. The public liability license or insurance, it's not very friendly to businesses. And people who run some of these businesses are very careful, because if you come in there and you get hurt or anything happens to you, they are going down. And sometimes the insurance can be quite on a huge side.
Yeah,
you know, can be quite, you know, on a huge side. So people are quite mindful as to what to do. 20 minutes past 7. Fantastic mornings with Simone and Kojo. Let's go get music. By this time, we get Eva Witter joining us. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at fantasticradio.co.uk.
Up in the sky, I got a feeling we'll be good tonight. Share my world, though sometimes cold. I know together we'll.
Come in.
Right.
Ah, Mr. Pilkington, and how are we today?
Yeah, I'm all right, Doctor. Yeah, I've just come for my checkup.
Okay, then pop your pants off.
What?
Just pop your pants off.
Why
And,
have I got my pants off?
well, because I have to pop my finger up your
What?
to check your prostate gland.
Don't worry about it.
Well, I am worried about it because prostate cancer kills 10,000 men every year in Britain.
You can check that out if I get any symptoms.
Well, there aren't always symptoms, and symptoms do vary from man to man. So the best way to check it out is I just pop my finger up there
I'm really
and
not
have a
happy with
feel.
this. Just
Don't worry about it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
No.
I don't know why he was worried. You probably saved his life there.
Does he have to be here?
He's just a mate. Don't worry about him. He's just watching me at work.
For more information, visit the Prostate Cancer Charity website. Real men know all about it.
Hey, good morning. 21 minutes past 7. 21 minutes past 7, and we are having a fantastic morning. Wonderful morning. Yvonne Witter. life coach, business coach, written a book on African Caribbean customer service, and she'll be coming through at some point. On the back end, we're trying to get through to her, and as soon as she joins us, we'll be running and getting on with it. Simone, another quote on customer service, another quote on customer service that popped up to me this morning whilst I was preparing. It says, "Strive not to be success, but rather be of value." And this was written or said by Albert Einstein. He said, "Strive not to be success, but rather be of value."
I think both goes hand in hand, but in the right order. So, yeah, if you strive to add value, then that should lead to success ultimately. But if you're just striving for the big end goal and without really much of a plan or a route to it, then it's almost sort of setting yourself up for failure. But yeah, I think it's a very good quote. And again, to sort of see that it's something that's held in good stead all this time and still makes a lot of sense and is very applicable to today. You know, all good. Yeah, very good. And it's short, but it explains itself.
Very much concise, and it goes straight to it. And as we're talking, I think whilst we're talking, we stayed with the shops and we stayed with businesses running on the high street. But I wanted to also go into the other branches of businesses where it could be a law business or it could be a legal firm or any of the service industries where customer service is very important. It's not as visible as it is, but with that one, it's about the human relations. It's about understanding the human need, recognizing that the people who you service have got real issues, real life issues, and we would have to service these people, recognizing that their needs are quite evident and we can't just bypass it. And we would have to look at how we can encourage people to go into the black businesses across the UK. I don't
think just to be clear, it's not that you're asking people to counsel. You know what I mean? You're not going to run a food business and ask you to counsel people that come through the door. You know what I mean? No. Yes, but you're not asking that, of course, because that's just a whole different field. But at the same time, being mindful of just people really, and just, be hospitable, which is what you'd do if you'd allowed somebody into your home. You allow them through the doors of your business. Right. If you let somebody through your doors of your home, you are going to put in a little service to sort of say, welcome. And hopefully in the same vein, you might do the same thing when you open the doors to your business to the public. So, you don't say make yourself at home, of course, because you don't want them to hang out too much, if it's a takeaway. But at the same time, if it's a restaurant, you want them to stay and to imbibe in the environment and to spend with you and to enjoy the experience. So that's all part of the parcel of it, really. The experience as well as the service and the product.
Experience and service of the product. My other slant to this conversation, Simone, is also about relationship. And I'm huge on it. I'm huge on relationship because I feel at the apex of a human consciousness is about connecting and being connected, right? So this is my understanding. The gospel according to Kojo.
We like that. You're gonna have to publish it one day.
So that's the gospel according to me. So that human beings are looking at connecting either on an emotional level or a psychological level or on a spiritual level. We all looking for that connectivity, right? And it's not void of businesses. It's important to recognize that we are building a relationship with the customer. In other areas, they call it clients, but we are building relationship with the customer, not for today, but for the future ahead, right? So then as an entrepreneur or as a business person, you would have to look at the future. You would have to look at how the future is going to get through, and you'll be able to project and build the customer service into it. Simone, listen, I've written no book on customer service. I have just read books on customer service. And I was just quoting from the gospel according to Kojo. Let's be talking to the woman who's written a book on customer service.
Yeah, we want the expert as well. So yeah, that's good.
When we come back from the music, Yvonne Witter will be talking to us about her book and everything to do with customer service within the African Caribbean business. But Simone Uncle and Kojo Bonti is with you this morning. You can reach Simone at Uncle Simone on Twitter, or you can get in touch with Simone at fantasticradio.co.uk, or myself at Bonti at fantasticradio.co.uk. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go get music. And after that, will be Yvonne Witter spending the next few minutes with us. Mr. Hamidi, let's do it.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at onair@fantasticradio.co.uk.
You're a good soldier, choosing your battle. Pick yourself up and dust yourself off and back in the saddle. You're on the front line, everyone's watching. You know.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at onair@fantasticradio.co.uk.
You're very much welcome. 32 minutes past 7. We on Fantastic Mornings on fantasticradio.co.uk. Her name is Simone Uncle. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwako. Spending the next few minutes with you talking customer service. We have the person who will be talking to Yvonne P. Witter joining us this morning. Mr. Hamidi, can Yvonne P. Witter join us, please?
Hello.
Good morning to you, Yvonne.
Yeah, Yvonne.
Thank you for having me. Really pleased to be here.
How are you this morning?
I'm okay. I'm awake.
It's quite morning. It's quite morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are very pleased to have you this morning. We are so glad that you made a time in joining us.
Yes.
How have you been with Corona and work and getting things changed and reshuffling stuff and getting life going? How have you been?
It's been brutal, isolating and all that kind of thing because I'm taking care of myself. But also there's been a lot of opportunities,
right?
Because in the work that I do, working with small businesses and social enterprise, they've had to pivot, many of them, and so I've been very busy in enabling organizations and businesses to think differently about what they do, how they do it,
right,
and what they can do differently to stay afloat, stay profitable. And those who work in the community, how they can continue to provide community services. So, in fact, it's been a very busy time for me.
That is beautiful. One person read a comment about what we're going to talk about, your book. And this is what the person said. This book is an interesting way to talk about customer service in the Caribbean restaurant sector. So many of the images are accurate, and the feature of many of these types of businesses, right down to the date of the flowers and the counters. One person goes on to say this: told through the lens of young entrepreneurs seeking guidance from his elders. This is a story that finally says what we've been thinking about, with the other lessons on what to avoid and how, without attacking, preaching, or pandering. Cracking a nut. Customer service in the African Caribbean businesses explained, guides and connects the dot, and it said this: a wonderful read and must have in every entrepreneurial toolkit. What led to the writing of the book?
Okay, so I've been working in with small business. I started off working in the small business sector, and most recently I've been working with social enterprises as well. But so since given my age now, but anyway, since maybe the 90s, I started off running training programs for new business starts at Lambeth College while I had a full-time job. I was moonlighting as a trainer there, and then I set up my company in 2003, after doing a lot of other work around small business development, working with various big organizations. And this issue with customer service in some of our sectors, not all, because not all African Caribbean businesses have issue with customer service, but I mean, it's anecdotal, it's funny, people laugh about it, they joke about it. And so it's something that I've always wanted to look into. So I wrote an academic paper for a conference, entrepreneur conference. And I wrote an academic paper titled Service versus Servitude.
Right.
And I was going to write a book, and I thought to myself, no, I really need to write something that I did some research, and I did some research on people's experiences before I wrote the paper. But then I thought to myself, an academic book wouldn't reach the market that I want to reach. My message would be lost with academics, and it's all right for them to know what's going on in our community, but how does that serve us? That's how I felt. So it took a while before I decided on the format for my message, and so that's how the book came about, because in my head, from 2012 2013, I think I wrote the paper for the academic conference. Yeah, so that's how it came about. That's how the germ of an idea came about.
No, that's great. I mean, you spent over 20 years in this kind of industry, or this kind of focus, and the book itself, just so we're clear and people can actually find it themselves, it's called Cracking the Nut, Customer Service in the African Caribbean Business. I just wanted to actually ask you, is this, so you actually, it's not just for, you're not just writing for the academics, you're writing for commercial businesses as well. So that's how it evolved into a book.
Yeah, this book is not for academics.
Yes.
At all. It's not aimed
but it started off with that premise. Yeah. It started off with that premise, but you've actually built it into a book to serve the community or for those that need it.
It's a different document altogether.
Okay, wonderful.
All the academic paper and the book are completely different formats. The academic document is not a story. It unpicks the whole issue around service versus servitude, or whether or not the Black community are straddled with this. I'm questioning whether or not there is an issue, a confusion with service versus servitude, and is that the basis of? Yeah, but the book doesn't focus on that. It mentions it.
That's good.
Yeah, it mentions it.
Did it come to that conclusion? So basically, the main question of this investigation, this study you did, has the legacy of slavery negatively influenced our perspective on service versus servitude. And at the time that you came to the end of your research, did it actually give an answer to that, or was it inconclusive, do you feel?
It's inconclusive. One would need to do much more in-depth research to really come to a conclusion. But I'm just putting in my academic paper. I put it out there that
that's something to consider.
Is there a possibility? Yeah.
Okay. And The Real McCoy was a TV sketch show from the 90s, which some of us remember very fondly. Still kind of trying to capture some of those sketches, really. They're really good. Was The Real McCoy also one of the inspirations for the book, really? Because I think there's a bit of humour in what you're writing, in what you've actually presented, as well as, the toolkit to helping businesses thrive.
I used The Real McCoy because The Real McCoy is a great It's a great what's the word, indicator. It's a great I can't find the word, it's too early, but that particular sketch around Misery Caribbean restaurant, it encapsulates the humor that we place around what I think is a crucial issue. And I had an experience where I asked somebody who's quite famous as a business person. They won a program on British television as an entrepreneur, and I asked them to review the book. And you know, he said he doesn't have a problem with customer service in the UK, so he can't review the book. And I said to him, "Oh, okay," you know, and we had a conversation, a nice conversation, and he said that well, apart from the cook shop, then.
Okay.
Apart from the cook shop, them. That was exactly how he said it. And I said to him, but that's what the book is about. The
Exactly.
cook shop, them. So you know, we don't. So unfortunately, people don't really appreciate the fact that small businesses, you know, people, you know, they take a remortgage, they part the money, they source the money, or you know, people save up. People second mortgage their. I mean, they borrow from family and friends. You know. I was appalled that this guy, who will not be named, obviously, I was appalled that his attitude was that, and that is how it is in our community.
I think so. There's a level of being blasé and so relaxed about it that it's kind of expected, and then we make a little bit of a humour about it. But actually, it's like you said, it's very much a serious subject, especially if you want your business to survive. You know, that we'd like to actually deliver better. We've got great food. The menu's always wonderful. You know, pretty much the menu's spot on, but sometimes where it fails is the customer service side, and that's where we need to actually keep that consistency going to keep businesses, you know, surviving really. And I suppose, you know, that kind of slapdash attitude of, oh yeah, you know, it's expected, you know, you're going to get somebody with who's a bit of a sourpuss behind the counter, and it's like, you know, is that, but we don't want that, you know, and a lot of it doesn't feel good when you're on the receiving end of it either. So, and it's not going to inspire you to want to return. So I think, most of the time we should, we can do better, because like I said, you know, we've got a great business idea, we've got great menus. We just need to deliver on the extra part. The extra toolkit that you've actually provided in the book is wonderful, because I think it's very essential, as you're saying.
I think what's happened over the years is this, with hairdressers, food shops, and anywhere else. We continue. What I found out from my research was that we continue to patronize these businesses because we want the service. You know, food is an important part of our culture. We African Caribbean women, we want our hair done with people who understand how to manage our hair. So we would sit in salons for hours on end and tolerate all sorts of things. You can tell where one of the series of books are going to go in terms of story, right?
Right.
And so, you know, we're used to this. Why? Because we want the service, and that's what I found out from doing the survey. Was that people patronize. Irrespective, we want the food. We want to buy that particular food. We want the planting or whatever it is where we want to have that we can't get elsewhere. So, or we might not want to buy it elsewhere. We want to, you know, build a black economy. So you'd seek out our own suppliers, but it's tough. It's very hard.
If a question comes to me, and I love to find out, and literally segging away from some of the some of the topics that we've sort of written out, where do you think this psychology comes from? Has it got to do with the way that the entrepreneur sees themselves? Because it's very much a reflection of what they are thinking. Has it got to do with what they are going through as business people? Because one of the things that you said that really jumped at me, people starting businesses have come a long way. Some of them have remortgaged their houses. Some of them have gone into taking loans from the bank. Some of them, their marriage is on the line if the marriage doesn't work. Some of them, their education is that. So then why do they start the business, and what is quite pivotal, quite central to their business, the human beings that walks in, the customer service that will sustain in creating the value? Why do some of these businesses? Because I don't want to believe that it is every business.
No.
Yeah.
My question is, what do you think happens in their psyche that causes this not top of the notch customer service? You can tell I'm trying to use the right words.
I know. Listen, it's like it operates on so many different levels, and I think I've mentioned them in the book, but as I have chance to talk about it in more detail, it operates on many different levels. So one, we have the level of the actual employee, the person on the counter.
Right.
Now, often those jobs, catering jobs, are low paid. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we need to acknowledge is that the person on the counter is not being paid very much.
Right.
The second thing is sometimes, not always, how do I put this? The person on the counter may have other issues around immigration, various personal issues, then let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're low paid and they have personal issues. I think you know where I'm coming from yeah. And then we have a situation where the business owner often hasn't taken any advice for setting up the business. We're very poor in this country on people will call me all day long, all night long. Can we meet for a coffee? Can we meet for a coffee? Can we meet for a coffee? And to squeeze my brain about starting their business. And when they've squeezed, they don't value so when they've squeezed your brain, they go away and they take the advice. Some of them don't. And they do what they do. But most people don't even look for advice. They reckon they can see Sarah over there with a hairdresser, so they don't need to ask anybody. They'll just do it as well. Cook shop. If I have a cook shop, we can do it. Why can't I do it? What is wrong with me? I can do it. so they just like go off and they just do it. Well, how hard can it be is what they tell themselves. And so they have no systems, no process, no like. They just, someone's a good cook. Michael Gerber wrote this book. What is the reason for business failure? Business failure is always, always, always about people having a skill. So somebody's a great cook, a great dressmaker, a great hairdresser. Yes, I can do it. I can open. They may be working for a company. They may be working in a hairdresser's and think she's making all this money. I've been making this money myself. People call it bad-mindedness. I'm going to do this myself. So they go and they open a place themselves. They have no idea about keeping accounts, marketing, none whatsoever. The first time they make money, they go and buy a nice new pair of shoes, as if the money belongs to them. It doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the business.
Yeah, reinvest.
And so the beat goes on. No, they had a car that was moving. Oh no, they're gonna get a Chris car now because they got a business. And it's a two-way thing. I remember when in the height of my limited company, I had a private limited company. I used to get government contracts to deliver services. And a really good friend of mine said to me, I can't see how you're in business. You don't seem like you're in business to me. I said, why do you say that? I'm turning over 100 grand at the time. She said to me, I said to her, why do you say that? She said, well, and you know why she said this? Because I was working from home. I had a 3-bedroom, semi-detached house. I was working, I had a home office, fully equipped. I was working from home. And as far as she was concerned, because I didn't have an office somewhere else, she didn't see me as being in business. And so this is the problem. People expect you to roll up in some BMW or Mercedes Benz in a sharp suit, and they will take advice from people who are not trained, not qualified, but they have a look. And people buy into a particular look.
Buy into the image.
What they think is success. I've seen
it's a false image, if anything.
Yeah, I've worked with clients when I was contracting with local government to deliver enterprise services. I've gone to clients who open a travel agents, talking to them, not getting anywhere, come back. Oh, somebody passed by, came in, suited and booted. A few months later, business no longer exists. And I just think to myself, oh my God, I wonder what advice she was given. That she no longer. This is a Croydon Enterprise. I mean, I remember it vividly because I just thinking. So it operates on so many different levels, and then you have this. You have the the person, like you say, who's invested all their personal funds and all this, who thinks I've arrived. I'm a business owner now. I'm a boss. So they feel they can talk to the people that work with them anyhow.
Right.
They don't need to show them any respect. And half the, you know, when I was doing the survey, I went into cook shops and I thought, no, I need to engage with these women, because in our community it's mainly women. In other communities, you notice it's mainly men who are in these shops. And I recently kind of clocked that one. But I started to engage with women, and I remember going into one shop. I won't forget this one, and I said to her, "Sister, how you doing? How are things? Not too, you know, the usual. No, not so bad." I said, "So, you know, how you look so? How you look so you know, upset? What? Wagwan? I'm hungry." She said she's hungry. I said, "How can you be hungry and you see all this food?" I should point to the security camera.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So
That's very telling.
What we have to understand is that this thing is operating on various levels.
Yes.
Happy people, even if you're low paid, happy people are happy workers.
I like that. I like that.
If you're even if you're low paid, if you come to work and you're not happy,
yes,
we can all have external problems, isn't it? We can have problems at home, all kind of problems we can have in our lives. But if on top of it, you're oppressed in the workplace, it's hard for you to muster a smile, isn't it?
It's true. You're right. The workplace, you know, you're probably spending 8 hours, sometimes more, in some of these takeaways or whatever. And you know, if people, some businesses, you know, they're great with delivering the product, but the business tools are not there. The people skills aren't there, so they don't know how to handle staff properly or customers. And then, of course, you know, if there's other factors like, you know, you're not even giving people breaks, or you're not giving them, you know, adequate breaks, and the food and whatever, you know, some kind of perks or whatever to the job in order to keep them engaged and happy. Those little things go a long way. So you're absolutely right. It's funny that they seem like obvious things, but not everyone applies them. It's a shame.
Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, well, how much food can one person eat? Do you know what I mean? So even if you know, even if she was eating unscheduled, if you like, I mean, how much food can one? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not going to take too much from the profits, really.
Exactly. If you had a bowl of rice and something, exactly. So, you really have to ask yourself, you know. So, you know, clearly it wasn't time for her to eat yet, or I don't know what the arrangement was. I didn't. Maybe I should have asked what the arrangement was. What time? Do you know what I mean? So there are lots of things that need to be considered behind the frosty face at the front. You know, sometimes the frosty face is indicative of far more than we know.
Understand.
Do you help businesses? So a business reaches out, listens to us, reaches out and say, look, I run a business. I would love you to come through and train my team, or I would want to come through for training. Do you do that? Do you service businesses that comes through for that service, please?
Yes, I do. I mean, I think I did Morris Roots is a natural hair salon, right? And when he opened, I remember I used to go to him, and when he opened up, he then expanded into 3 branches.
Okay.
One in South London, North London, I think, and I can't remember if it was East, the third one, or 2 in South and 1 North, or whatever. And you know what he did? He asked me to come in and deliver customer service training for all his. I mean, I think I still have the letter that he wrote to say thank you so much.
Right.
And I did. On a Sunday, I think it was a Sunday morning or whenever it was, you know, he called his staff in, and I trained them. We went through the thing around customer service. He did a customer service charter. He had we decided to have a comment box if people wanted to, you know, comment on service. And this is a business who he had he bought a sophisticated appointment system in, where you could book appointments. You know, none of this sitting around all day waiting to be served and all this type thing in his establishment. He was very much ahead of the game and wanted something. You know, I used to call him the Rolls Royce of black hairdressing. He used to laugh because he was so determined to get his systems and his place. And you know, people offering you a coffee or a drink. I think what happened there, I think, was that with customer relationships, you know, staff change, and it's something you have to continue. And I think what may have happened along, because people would say to me something like, "Oh, I went to Morris Roots and this didn't happen." Just in conversation, I said, "Oh, really? I wasn't, I wasn't offered a drink, this type thing." And I think what happened, and I used to defend. Of course, I used to defend the business and say, "No, I mean, I think that may have just been a one-off." But on reflection, I think what would have happened is there would have been a change of staff.
Right.
And so the new, so with the customer relationship, it has to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only thing. But he really pushed the boat out. Honestly, he really did. But
I've been there within the last 2 years I've been, and I've got a friend that goes there consistently. And even when I've been there and he's not been present, his staff has been wonderful. I ran into a lovely young woman called Beatrice. So I remember being looked after by her, and wonderful time. We had some great stories to share. Actually, she's very engaging and talkative. So I really enjoyed my experience at the salon.
Fantastic,
and that's recent. Yeah.
Thank you. But that's fantastic to hear that, because that work I did with them was over a decade ago. I mean, a long time was when he started. So fantastic. So you see, Morris is probably keeping things going, but you know how it is with people. People will complain and so. But so I am really, that really warms my heart to hear that, because they have tried really hard.
Yvonne, thank you for that. But where can we get the book you've written? Where can it be purchased? Is it currently on Amazon? It's now currently on the krakentheknot.com. Where can we get the book?
The book is on amazon.co.uk. It's on amazon.com in America. You can also get signed copies from my website. So you can go to yvonnewitter.com or krakentheknot.com for a signed copy. So if you go to www.krakentheknot.com, I will send you a signed copy. But it's on Amazon. It's also on Kindle. If it's downloadable. It's downloadable on Kindle. So yes, I mean, please do buy, and I'd like people to share the information. I'd love feedback on Amazon to say how they feel about the book. If it was, they were entertained and informed, because the idea that it's not too heavy, but people can pick up the information. Yes.
Right. I would love you to talk to us about empowerment. We've talked about the educational side, the psychology of the business person and his stuff or her stuff. But I'd love you to sort of, in the next 2-3 minutes, sort of go into an empowerment of the entrepreneur running the business and consistently developing themselves, and some of the service that you also give to them. What would you talk about empowerment as an entrepreneur and the importance of getting empowered and getting tuned up in moving your business further? Can you please go into that and sort of talk about how you can also help them with the empowerment and strengthening their services, please?
I think it's so hard for the small business, because so much time is taken up with the business. Especially, I mean, I grew up in a business which was a restaurant and stuff. I didn't acknowledge that until much later in life, because I saw it as a drain as a child. But there's a lot involved, in the buying of the food and the preparation. How cooking is a very intensive thing. So for that particular industry, time. But what really needs to happen is the business owner needs to keep themselves relevant. They need to avail themselves. We have things like YouTube now. It's not like back in the day where you had to physically go to an event. Always, you had to show up at a networking event or a business seminar, especially since COVID. Oh my God, there is now so much online. So they can follow leaders. They can pay a small fee to jump on certain programs, just keep their skills up to date. Find out what's new, how they can improve around all aspects of their business. I mean, I was running a mastermind group a while back, a few months back, and that was about business generally, and it was well attended and it was really good. I was just doing a pilot to see how I want to progress, and I might sort of launch something. But if anybody wants support, they can just go to my website, sign up, and just approach me, and I will send them information on anything that we're doing in relation to empowering and strengthening our business community, because I think it's really important that we economically grow and that my work is very much around building Black economy. And one of the challenges I have with our community You know, when I used to do my seminars, and I say to people, you know, we have to buy from our own. We have to we have to walk that extra thing, get off the bus 2 stops more. We have to pay the penny more for the planting. Yes, but the planting them brown and the planting often overripe. I said the planting overripe because you're not buying it from them. Planting is not going to stay yellow and firm. So if we don't buy them, they will get it. Oh yes, but we have to pay more. Yes, you got to pay more because the people that are supplying them control the market, and they sell it dearer to us than they do to their own kin and folk. So when the one you're buying it from cheaper, their brethren sell it to them cheaper than they sell it to the black business. Unfortunately, they control the distribution of our food, the food that we eat. So this is why the planting in the Black and African Caribbean shop might be a bit more bruised and might be a bit older, because you're not going in there, you're passing their shop, going down to the other shop because you're getting it 5 pence cheaper. Stop it. Stop it. Now, stop it. And don't buy products that are cloned by people, that are not manufactured by your own people. Read the label, find out who makes this. We have to strengthen our economy. Our children on the street, we need money in our economy. No one's going to help, but these people keep looking outside somewhere else for support. Business owner, we need to strengthen our business economy. We need to grow money in our community so that we can fund our own youth centers, we can fund our own schools, we can fund our own health facilities. We need it now. That's what I am about. That's why the book is as it is. That's why it's written in that format. That's why it's not an academic paper for people to sit on, read, and put and use the information for their own benefit. It is for our people to strengthen them. I write from a perspective of being a black woman. I write from the perspective of wanting to build our community, strengthen our community, empower our community. That is what I am about.
A minute past 8. I can't say anything else. You go to www.YvonnePWitter.com and every information about this woman would be there. Yvonne, Simone has got something to say to you. I have something to say to you. Then we will sedge our way out. Simone, it's over to you now.
Yeah, just encouraging people to find this book. Yeah, it's Cracking a Nut, Customer Service in the African Caribbean Business, and the author is Yvonne P. Witter, and you'll find her on Amazon and other outlets. So please look at this book. Also, look up Black Pound Day or the directory online. That will give you more information about other services you can access in the Black community where you can support and be consistent with your spending there. And also, if you have any good companies, that are Black owned on your doorstep, please be consistent with returning to that business and helping them continue and thrive. So that's my note. Thank you.
Yvonne, you got your last word.
Buy Black.
It's been good. Yvonne, thank you for your time. We really enjoyed having the moment with you. And we really enjoyed your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for joining.
Yvonne P. Witter. YvonnePWitter.com. Every information will be with her, and please go get the book, and please let's support Black businesses. It's been Kojo, Bonti Amwako, Simone Uncle, and Yvonne P. Witter spending the moment with us.
Yeah.
Thank you, and go to www.YvonnePWitter.com. Have a good day, and take you, and have a wonderful
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
The empowering conversations with our guests, the riveting music we share with you. Thank you for choosing Fantastic Radio UK, home of possibilities.